All right, so this edition, we want to discuss the difference between RON, and not Ron Burgundy, but RON, remote online notarization.
Yes.
Yeah, even though I'd rather talk about Ron Burgundy, and then versus RIN. So, so that's the big difference. So let me ask you this first.
Okay.
Say it again. What does RIN stand for? Just so everybody at home has it.
Remote ink signed notarization. RIN, R-I-N. We'll get into it. Ron's cousin.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Ron's cousin. All right. So briefly, and I know everybody knows about it, but what is RON again? What is the concept of RON?
Okay, RON is remote online notarization. It's speaking to the notarial act. It's not the closing itself. Closings can be transacted via RON or utilizing RON, but it's the act of having the principal, the signer, and the notary in disparate locations, but together via audiovisual technology. So they are in each other's presence electronically, like you and I are right now. And the notarial act is witnessed. In a true RON, a fully electronic, 100% paperless RON, you would sign all of your documentation electronically on a remote online notarization platform. I would be a participant to that as the notary. I would see it. I would sign electronically as well, affix my notarial seal electronically, and that's it. Deal's closed.
Okay. And I think, did you state also you have to be a U.S. citizen to use this?
You do.
I think that is the...
Yep.
Okay, perfect. And for additional information on RON, you can always go to eClosefan.com. So again, eClosefan.com. We'll put that website at the bottom. So, okay, awesome. So now what does Ron's cousin RIN look like?
All right. So look, information is coming and going, dribs and drabs. Some underwriters are trying to get behind it. Some are trying to avoid it. I just wanted to offer some education on what it is. I'm not suggesting it's an option you should utilize. In fact, I think there are other options that are significantly better, but I do want to educate the public. So Chapter 117 of the Florida statutes anticipates now, as of January 1st of this year, two different types of notarial possibilities, let's call it. Two types of notarization options. And that's the traditional, in-person, sit down, you and I are together in a room, you sign, I witness it, I notarize it, all wet ink. The other is the remote online notarization, which we just went through a minute ago, where we're together electronically and we all sign electronically. So, and I'm just looking at my notes here. Let's see. Oh, and it mentions in Iran, the notary is present with the signer utilizing acceptable audiovisual technology for me to witness and ensure that you are in fact who you say you are. So what Chapter 117 doesn't really anticipate is the RIN, the remote ink sign notarization, which is more of a hybrid between traditional and remote online. In a RIN, the notary is going to be present electronically, similar to the RON scenario, via the AV equipment, but we're going to perform traditional wet signed notarial acts. You as the principal are going to wet sign your documentation, and myself as the notary, I'm going to wet sign my documentation. And I'm going to put a physical seal when I receive the information from you, the documentation from you. There's a lot of different information out there. The audiovisual equipment, is it acceptable? That, in my mind, means is there some recordation and retention of the act? Again, it's not well defined, but that seems to be that seems to be a necessity to me. The recording of it. So the notary, myself in this case, I would watch you, Chris, sign the documentation and send it back to me. Then I would wet sign after the fact. So you would literally take your documentation, and this is where some of the information I'm reading is different. I've read some stuff where I have to witness you signing the documents putting them in a FedEx envelope and sending them to me, at which point I would notify you that I'm in receipt of those documents, and I would walk through them with you and say, hey, did you sign page 1? Did you sign page 2? Did you sign whatever? And you would acknowledge yes or no, you did not. Obviously, you would say, yes, I did. And then I would apply a wet signature notarization and a physical stamp to the package, and we would close that way. So let's see.
So the video, though, just to confirm, the video you would physically, I mean, it could be used by any video means?
I'm sorry, it could be used by what?
When I'm watching you sign it, if I'm the RIN, let's say we're doing it a RIN, I mean, can I watch you through FaceTime?
Well,
through Skype?
Again,
I know that's a conversation. I mean,
it goes further down the slippery slope. I would never use those platforms. Never. But, you know, if you live in a state, I wouldn't do it in Florida right now because none of the underwriters are getting behind that, but it's potentially out there that you could utilize, and I think they're calling those AVONs, audio-visual online notaries. Another topic for another day maybe, but what they're suggesting with RIN is that you still utilize a RON platform. Sorry, I know this is confusing, but they're literally suggesting that you utilize Notarize, NotariCam, Pavaso, one of the providers of RON platform, to perform this hybrid version of the closing. Well, I don't think anyone ever stopped to check with the tech providers because I'm hearing there's a lot of pushback from these platforms, and I understand that. If you went through all the time and effort and resource to create a RON platform in anticipation of these laws changing, I don't know why you'd want to offer a watered-down version at this point on your platform. Now, the one reason may be that lenders are so underprepared for this, they don't have their e-vaults set up to accept, e-notes, or they don't have integration yet with Pavaso or Notarize or NotariCam or any of these others. Then they can't accept RONs. They're just not ready physically to take those in. Maybe that kind of lender pressure will get the software providers, to step up and say, fine, for a limited time, we will offer this watered down light version of what we really are here for. But they might not. They might not. And interestingly, Fannie and Freddie have said that they are willing to enter this world of RIN, and they are willing to accept RIN closed documents. But it doesn't change the laws in Florida. As it stands right now, statutory law doesn't have a method of accepting this. I'm not saying it would be declined at a later date or turned down. We're in a pandemic. There are, probably going to be broader interpretations of statutes and authorizations, but I just think there's better options available. So I'd say be wary of it.
Yeah, it's like you said. I mean, it's definitely if you can utilize the RON, but I get it. If the technology isn't there and ready to go with a lender, this is, like you said, it's a watered down version of it to where then you can, in a sense, still make it work. So
Sure. Look, we're all trying to be cooperative. We're all trying to make things, we're all trying to get these closings to the finish line. We have to be cognizant of fraud regardless of what's going on. Things are being jammed down the pipe right now. I think that if we get a little bit too loose in our guidelines, especially with the audiovisual acknowledgments and verifications and recordation and retention, I think there's a potential for not only fraud, but challenges at default level later if people are, going to be if this unemployment rate continues and people are in default on their mortgages and there's a lot of foreclosures at a later date, then these are the kind of areas where a foreclosure attorney would challenge on behalf of their client. Show me where they signed this document. Prove to me that they signed this document. Show me where they understood and acknowledged what they. I mean, you're going down a rabbit hole that could get complicated. So some of the underwriters in Florida, a couple of them, 2 right now that I know of, are trying to get their arms around RIN closings. Even those 2 aren't talking a lot about it, but they're trying to get their arms around it. They want to utilize it in situations where a lender is requiring that its loan docs be ink signed, the mortgage and the promissory note. But they want to know that certain precautions are being taken. So the underwriters are saying, okay, if the lender's requiring it and what they're requiring does not contradict their closing instructions, then we will consider it. They want to, and this is logical in my opinion, they want to limit it to transactions under a certain dollar amount. So if there is a claim later or an issue that comes up later, they don't want it to be a $5 million property. They want to make sure, like I said, the lender approves of it and it doesn't contradict the closing instructions, but also that the principal agrees and accepts utilizing RIN technology to close their documentation. And then the last thing would be that the notary is a Florida certified notary in all cases. So, you know, if that notary is Florida notarized and everything else I said lines up and the lender's requiring it, doesn't contradict their instructions, everybody's okay with it, is there the potential to close like this? Sure, there is. Again, assuming that one of the RON platform providers will allow it. So I would say, look, guys, it's an option, or it's becoming an option, or it's being discussed as an option. There's all types of things being tossed about right now. Use the safest solution that's reasonably available to you. And if you don't know what that is, call us and let us walk you through what we think it might be, depending on where you are geographically, where your parties are geographically, what your lender is asking for, and what your underwriters will allow. That's it.
I got you. And I guess the biggest thing also to say is today is, I think it's April 29th. And the reason why I'm saying that is, as you said just before this call, new things are coming out daily, if not every hour, as to even things with RON or RIN. So I'm just going to throw that out. This is April 29th that this is being taped. So if things change tomorrow, yeah. So
as
we'll
it likely will, yes. So. As of today, this afternoon, this is being talked about as a possibility. Yes, that is true. And to anyone watching this video, if I have only confused you, then give us a call. Again, take the safest option available to you, please.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thanks, Mike, for giving us the difference between RON versus RIN, and we'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good. Bye, guys.